Hi guys, hope you're having a super duper great day. I am, thank you. Welcome if you're new and welcome back if you're not. And if you are new here, my name is Mathilda, obviously, and I am a trans woman. I transitioned over how many years ago? Like at this point, like who the hell cares? I met up with a psychologist when I was 15 and I medically transitioned at the age of 18. Sometimes when I talk to people, they're kind of baffled by the fact that I have lived as both genders. I was brought up as a boy and now I'm living my life every day as a woman. And what are the differences between living as a man and living as a woman? And please take this with a grain of salt. These are my experiences. However, I do think that many men and many women will see themselves in these experiences and kind of know what I'm talking about. I am going to talk a little bit about societal pressures and norms and everything like that. However, most of it are my own experiences. So yeah, pour yourself a cup of tea or coffee or a snack and let's get into all of the differences between living as a boy and living as a girl. But before we get into all the juicy details, I just want to let you know that this video is actually in sponsorship with June's Journey. And if you haven't heard about June's Journey before, where have you been? Like, you're missing out, girl. Like, you're missing out. It's a detective mystery app where you play as June, who experiences the loss of her sister and her sister's husband, and she has to figure out what really happened. The police says that the husband did it, but June, she's more clever than that. She knows that something is up. The thing with this game is that the story is so enthralling. Like, I love the story. It feels like you're reading a book, kind of. The mystery is so good and you have to play and find clues as June, and she really, like, she's such an iconic character. But what I love the most about this game is literally decorating my island. When you find clues and progress throughout the story, you earn points and money and you can purchase decorations or upgrade your home on your island, and that's something I really love doing. It just takes my mind off other things, so I really enjoy that about this game. I definitely recommend June's Journey. You will be so consumed by the detective work, I promise you. You can download it free either by this QR code right here or the link in my top comment or my description box, and trust me, you won't regret it. And whenever you support a company that I work with, you also support me as well. So go ahead, run and download June's Journey right now. Let's get into the differences between living as a boy and living as a girl. I medically started transitioning at the age of 18 and I was very feminine before that. However, I still experienced male privilege. Most of the girls in the same age range as myself were really supportive and nice, and they always thought of me as the clown and the funny one. I think many girls that I knew kind of saw me as the fun gay guy, even though I never explicitly told them that I was gay. I think I didn't mask very well. I was very feminine and they treated me as such. Like, the boys were really making fun of me and bullied me for being feminine, while the girls kind of, let me in and were very supportive of me. However, the thing that kind of changed, like, some of those girls, when I transitioned, weren't really supportive as much. I think that was very hard for me to grasp. As a gay guy, I had the privilege of being like the funny gay guy, and like all of the girls in my class were so like, oh my gosh, he's so funny, I love him. And after I transitioned, I wasn't allowed to express myself the same way. Some of those girls, I remember them talking shit behind my back, being like, oh, she thinks she's all that. And it was such a weird experience to experience both, like, the privilege of being like a sassy gay guy. Like, when you're a sassy girl, you get hated on. It was it's such a different vibe. The same girls that were supportive and like saying that I was so fun, those same girls shifted as I transitioned. I lost so many girlfriends that I've had my entire life because I transitioned. However, guys treated me the complete opposite. I remember being bullied my entire life for being feminine, didn't want anything to do with me. Like as soon as they kind of felt the vibe that I was gay, they didn't want to talk to me anymore. But as I transitioned, every time I met a new guy, they were really like friendly to me. I really experienced it firsthand, what it meant with pretty privilege, and that guys are very, very nice towards women they find attractive. Obviously, I didn't tell them that I was trans because I don't go around, the first thing that comes out of my mouth is not, hey, my name is Mathilda and I'm trans. They didn't know that I was trans. Pre-transition, everyone assumed that I was gay and treated me as such. Like, please do remember that this was like 13 years ago and we've come a long way, but being gay back then was not the same as it is today. So I remember my entire life, people treated me like I was gay, and I always heard really awful things about me. But as I transitioned, people thought that I was just like a cis girl. People thought that I was just like a straight cis girl, and they treated me accordingly. So if that makes sense. This is like all over the place, but I hope you understand. It's gonna be really difficult like editing all of this together because these are just like my thoughts. Something else I do remember, I've talked about this before, but I remember when I was like 17 or like 18, right before I transitioned, I was walking through the grocery store. I've never been like very tall. I've always been very like medium. So sometimes in the grocery store, I can't reach the top shelf. In the store, no one helped me. Like no one came up to me, like workers didn't come up to me and be like, oh, we can help you. Tall guys didn't help me throughout my life. I was just like on my own, if that makes sense. If I couldn't pick something off the top shelf, like bad luck, I guess. Like that's life, boohoo. But when I transitioned, I remember it so vividly. Maybe like a year after I transitioned, I kind of looked like I look now. So I was walking through the grocery store and I just looked at the top shelf. I literally just glanced at the top shelf. I didn't even reach. And a guy came out of nowhere and he was like, do you need that? And he just like picked it down for me. It was such a weird experience. And he didn't like stand there and chat afterwards. He just picked it down for me. He gave it to me and then he walked off. And it was such a different experience, what it was like living as a teenage boy. I don't know if it's like that anymore, but I felt like it was pretty much, everyone's for themselves, if you have a problem, like work it out. But as a woman, I felt people tend to help you a lot more and they kind of see you as this damsel in distress, and even girls do that. I think us girls have a very like tight knitted relationship, and we're girls, we want to help each other. And if we see that a girl has like an issue or a problem, we tend to really want to help her out. And men want to help women out because they're attracted to them or they see them as like damsel in distresses. So that's my experience. However, I also experience that people tend to want me to be more quiet now. I remember, as I said, I was kind of seen as the clown in the classroom and people loved me making jokes. And whenever I said something, people listened. But after I transitioned, I went to university after, and I felt that kind of shifted. I felt that people talked over me a lot more. I felt like men didn't listen to me as much. And when I talked, people kind of interrupted me. I felt like my voice was kind of silenced a lot more. Even though I was bullied as a guy, and even though I was like seen as a gay boy, I still felt like my voice mattered a lot more. People just didn't want to listen to me as much. And I remember in university, guys even like stopped me mid presentation and was like, oh yeah, I thought about this, and that has never happened before in my life, like never. So that's also something I feel like women are silenced a lot more. So that was definitely a new experience, just feeling like my voice didn't matter as much. Also, I don't feel anywhere as safe as I did before, even though, as I said, I was bullied and people didn't really, or specifically a lot of guys wasn't really comfortable with me around. I still felt more safe than what I do now. I have experienced things that many women has, and I'm not going to go too deep into that because it's just gonna be like very sad. But I have definitely I have experienced men not taking no for an answer, and I have experienced being catcalled. I have experienced men doing really awful things to me. Most of my womanhood, I've lived in stealth, and basically what that means, it means I haven't told anyone that I'm trans. I went to university with people that thought that I was a cis woman because I didn't want to go through the struggle of people knowing that. So everyone thought that I was a cis woman, and everyone treated me accordingly. So the things I've experienced, people that has done those things to me thought that I was a cis woman, and they never knew that I was trans. So that's also something to really think of. Many transphobic people, whenever I tell them that I've experienced men's violence, they always say, oh, it's a man to man violence, or like it's a man versus man violence. But those men specifically treated me the way they treated me because they thought that I was a cis woman. So it's not man to man, because those men thought that I'm a cis woman, if that makes sense. So I've experienced my fair share of moments like many other cis women, even though I'm a trans woman. So I definitely feel a lot more unsafe now than what I felt before. But yeah, is there anything else? Oh yeah, going to the doctor, I don't know if this is just me, but sometimes I feel like the doctor just think that there's something wrong with me, like mentally. Whenever I say that I have like pain somewhere, or whenever I like have an issue or concern, they always tend to go to the route that there's something wrong with me mentally. Like, oh, you're just stressed, or you just have anxiety. I don't remember how it was before, if that was the same before, because it was a long time ago, as I said, but that's just something I really experience now. I feel like doctors don't take me as seriously, but as I said, I don't really remember how it was before. Maybe it would be the same. I don't know. Maybe doctors are just assholes. I don't know. But you tell me in the comments. I think whenever I talk to my girlfriends, they do have the same experiences with the doctors. So yeah, something else that is very different is my emotional range. But this is not down to like societal norms or like experiences. It's just like whenever you go on estrogen, your emotional range kind of widens a lot more. You feel everything, like everything is heightened, as Stefan in Vampire Diaries would say. Everything is heightened. Like becoming a woman is kind of becoming like a vampire. If you've seen Vampire Diaries, you know, like all my girlies out there, you know. But yeah, I think that's all for this video, and please don't forget to download June's Journey. Here's the QR code again, and the link is in my top comment or description box. And please, like, remember, whenever you support a company that I work with, you support me as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.